Well, good afternoon, Toreros. Far and near is Sunday, September 19th. It's the afternoon here in Monrovia, California, coming to you live. And thought this week I'd dispense with a typical button down look for a little bit of sartorial whimsy. Uh, so there you go. It's hope you've had a great week and hope you haven't found the week 3 assignment too taxing. I'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit. Um, but yeah, this is I can't believe we're already through the third week on the edge of week 4, which is when we get through that week, we'll be a quarter of the way through the semester. Pretty amazing. So anyway, thanks. I want to give a big shout out to Emily, Danny, and Lupe for having great meetings with me this week. Anyone, if you're interested in setting up a little Zoom call, talk about your review, talk about things you're interested in, talk about dissertations, talk about chairs, whatever you want to talk about, hit me up and we'll set up a meeting. Okay. Yeah, I find them extraordinarily valuable because I like to see what you're interested in. And if I can help you kind of shape those interests, if I can kind of help you focus a little bit, guide you in the right direction, then so much the better. So thank you to you three for good meetings this week, and my door is always open. Okay, and then also thanks to the 92% of you for setting up meetings with V Dozier. And to those of you who have already met with her, I appreciate you sending forth your little synopsis. So if you have, the synopsis is really due on October 5th, but if you have a meeting with her, between now and then, do write your little synopsis up and send it to me when you can. Okay, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, so I think in sort of pulling from the universe, it seems like universally speaking, your meetings with V or your interactions with V have been very positive, and I cannot impress upon you enough that she is an incredible resource for us, and we're very thankful to have her as part of this course. She's not an instructor, but in some way she is, because she's guiding you through the search process, finding the literature that's going to inform your literature review, but also she's great at helping you focus, helping you guide you and move you in the right directions to think about other literature that you perhaps haven't thought about. So V Dozier is a incredible resource for us. I'm very thankful. And anyone who has not contacted her, please do. It's really not an option. Okay. All right. Speaking of which, this is kind of an odd segue, but listen to this. The big news of the week is that our TA for the course is no longer TBD. It's TBA, because we don't know who it's going to be exactly, but it's in the works. And so we will soon have our own dedicated TA for this course. Well, not dedicated. We're going to be sharing her, sharing her with Fred Galloway, which would be fine because she'll be able to get in there and get all blackboarded up, whereas I've kind of fumbled around, and as you all so well know. Hopefully we'll have a turn it in function, which would be just great. I hope, and I do hope, that the blog function, I don't know what else to call it, the blog, the discussion board, announcements, in the content area you've been able to access. If you don't have access to those things, because those are the things that I think are set up, I don't know exactly, but I think they are, do let me know. Also, thank you for letting me know who your chair is. Like I said, you don't have to know who that is right now, but at least give me an idea of who you're thinking about asking. Okay, that would be potentially helpful to me. And if we do have a meeting soon, or we talk in the next couple of weeks or whatever, I can help help you in that regard, and what to look for in a chair, how to go about soliciting a chair, how about all that kind of good stuff, because choosing your chair wisely is really one of the best decisions you'll ever make, guaranteed. I did not choose wisely. It was who was I telling? I was telling Danny, I think, and about the story of the way that my dissertation chair was chosen for me. I mean, it worked out in the end because I obviously defended my dissertation, got my dissertation done, defended it, graduated, blah blah blah. So, but it was an arranged, it was kind of an arranged marriage. Had a young guy young faculty member who had his eyes on tenure, needed to chair a dissertation as part of his the gaining tenure package. I needed a chair because the two people that were going to comprise 2/3 of my committee left, went to other institutions. What's a guy to do? So anyway, I called the dean, called our chair of the department, dean of our school. Actually, one of the same people. And I said, hey, would you chair my committee? He said, yeah, sure. And then he about a week and a half later called me back, goes, well, listen, this guy who's gonna chair your committee. I didn't know who this guy was. I didn't know anything about him. It was like, never even heard of him. So anyway, he becomes the chair of my committee, and the rest, shall we say, is history. But I urge you to choose your chair wisely. Okay. Oh, here we go. Yeah, my little notes for the week are over on this side. Listen, I'm sorry for not sending you the writing reduction examples before I had you do the writing reduction exercise. I think it probably could have been helpful, but be that as it may, you can use those examples moving forward. So you can see, and like I think I mentioned in either in the email, the writing itself wasn't necessarily bad, no, but it could have been better. It could have been a lot tighter had the author been his or her own most critical editor. There's that word, So anyway, yeah, so I thought I thought that there could have been improvements, and when you're doing a peer review like that, you do take the writing into consideration. It's not one of the big criteria, but it's something that people look at, and the more easier it is to read, the more favorably they will look upon you, and for whatever that may be worth. Okay, week 3 assignment. Yes, I hope you found the week 3 assignment interesting. I think it's for where we are in this course, and like I said, it's kind of like mostly you get a lot of everything that you need to for the literature itself, review itself kind of up front. That was the way I designed the course. So you go from the thinking about the writing with the writing reduction exercise, and subsequently with the writing reduction examples that came a little bit late. Okay, and then meeting with V to talk about in week 2 to talk about the literature you're interested in looking for, and all that kind of stuff. So you've got kind of thinking about the writing, thinking about becoming your own best editor, critical editor, own editor, editor-in-chief. You get to be the editor-in-chief. And then meeting with V and talking that process through. And then in week 3, going through and looking at the criteria against which you will be evaluated in your Part A, or for some of you, you won't be doing a Part A necessarily, if I'm thinking correctly about that. But be that as it may, it's still important to go through and apply criteria to the literature that you read. And thank you for those of you who have turned in your assignment. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And don't forget, for the rest of you, it is due on the 21st at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Okay, so I hope you found reading the dissertations helpful in some way, because it was supposed to be partly an enlightening experience for you. You see what a dissertation entails. It's important to know if you haven't looked at dissertations in depth before. So that's a good thing for you to see. And then certainly being able to apply the criteria. Using some standards to look at the literature review itself, and grade it, and which is it's a useful skill to have. I'll tell you right now. Not just anybody can read a dissertation, but then really looking at it critically, that is a real skill. Okay, and then of course, the other benefit of looking at dissertations was really honing in on the literature review, see what it's all about. Hopefully the dissertations that you read and then the one that you chose and to critique, hopefully that it proved to be very informative for you, and that you go, okay, well now the whole thing kind of makes sense. I can kind of see how it's put together, and I hope that when you read, a lot of you may not have had extensive methods, a lot of methods courses. So it was good for you. I think it's good for you to see, how people who do dissertations, such as yourselves in the near future, how they actually go about doing it, how they collect their data. So that's always a benefit. Okay, let's see. We are coming up the coming week 4, which, like I said, we're on the knife edge of week 4. So you have this week, your assignment is a 1 to 2 page outline, description of your topical areas. Make sure that when you write this piece, that you are your own most critical editor. Okay, so always good. Everything you turn in, it's got to be top-notch writing. Remember, you are scholars. Okay. Yeah, and then I'm going to go when I do I have not done the PowerPoints for this coming week, but when I do that, I will give you a little bit more depth. Okay, on that assignment. One thing that does come to mind, because who was I talking to? Talking to Lupe, and Lupe was telling me that she's got 2 very interesting directions that she wants to pursue. And and that's which is great. It's always good to have 2, 3, 4, possibly 5 areas that you're thinking about, because at this stage of your academic career, okay, this is where you really need to be. You're thinking about what it is you want to look at, and you have all these ideas, and a lot of times it comes from your professional experience. Might have come from your coursework, which is certainly a possibility. But all these ideas are kind of floating around in your head about where you want to take this. And that's great. That's where you need to be right now, and that's where you are. So revel in this kind of age of discovery, if you want to call it that, age of enlightenment. But when you do your assignment for this week 4, if you've got 2 different ideas or 3 ideas, write them down. Okay, this assignment doesn't commit you to that. But then if you do put down 2 or 3 potential topics, and you talk about the literature in those topics, you're going to have to pick one. You can't have all 3. If they're but I mean, it's like, let's say you have 3 ideas. So you have your main topical area, and then you might have subtopics underneath that. Then you have another sort of, you're thinking about, another study with topical area and then sub areas and so on and so forth. So you could put down those 2 or 3 ideas and the literature that goes along with those ideas. I mean, the ideas about what you want to turn this idea into for as far as a dissertation is concerned. So you could, if you can't narrow it down, can't pin it down, that's what you got to do. And then talk to me, and we'll talk through these things, and we'll try to. That means to focus. We'll try to focus you in. Okay, it's important because you can't. As much as interested as you may be interested in many things and all these different conducting many different studies, but you got to pick one. Okay, one study, because don't forget, the best dissertation is, everyone, a done dissertation. That's right. So anyway, that's it for my little intro to week 4 chat with you, and I will be, like I say, I'm available. I'll be here all week. I'm certainly available if you want to. And you're under no obligation, to meet with me. If you don't want to meet with me, fine. But if you have some nagging questions, you have some doubts, you have some, I don't know, and you just want to talk about where you are in your academic journey, that's fine by me. I may not know much, but I do know a few things. So anyway, listen, everyone, have a great week, and I will be talking with you all very soon. Ta-ta.